File item number 2, SB 958, introduced by Senators Lara and Hall.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. In 2008, California voters approved Proposition 11, the ballot initiative that established a statewide Citizens Redistricting Commission. That proposition was strongly supported by the California Common Cause, along with the League of Women Voters and California Forward under your leadership, Mr. Hertzberg, Senator Hertzberg. The initiative placed the power to draw electoral boundaries for state assembly, Senate, and our congressional districts in an independent, nonpartisan Citizens Redistricting Commission and in 2012, the San Diego County requested permission from the legislature to create their own independent redistricting commission to draw supervisorial districts. SB 958 would establish an independent redistricting commission for the Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors, modeled after the successful statewide commission. For a county with over 10 million residents, which is greater than the population of 41 U.S. states, it is imperative that we have a fair, impartial process for drawing district boundaries. It is also important that we ensure LA County has districts and a board that reflect the diversity of the population. I want to briefly summarize the key features of the proposed commission. The commission will be established after the next census in 2020. It will be a 14-member commission representing the political, racial, ethnic, and geographic diversity of the county. It would prohibit elected officials, staff, consultants, lobbyists, and other immediate family members from serving on the commission. Provides a maximum public notice of participation in the process, provides for public hearings around the county before the commission draws maps, and public comment after the proposed maps are drawn, requires translation of information into appropriate languages, and also requires the districts represent equal populations and respect communities of interest. An independent redistricting commission represents an unprecedented opportunity to shape the new redistricting process, one that puts the needs of voters above the interests of politicians, and can serve as a model for other jurisdictions to follow. Having political district lines drawn so that communities of interest are respected and protected will enable groups of constituents who will share common concerns by virtue of where they live and have more powerful voice in our political process. My office has been engaged in productive conversations with many other groups that worked on the statewide initiative, and I'm confident we can reach an agreement that guarantees a fair and transparent process. It is my intention to continue to work with these groups as this bill moves forward to make sure that their suggestions for improvements of the bill, suggestions for the improvement of the bill are incorporated. I am accepting the suggested committee amendments that require members of the commission to be subject to any of the Political Reform Act's reporting provisions, and also clarifying party preference of the commission's members to be as proportional as possible to voters' party preference, but that the bill does not require any of the party registration proportions on the committee to be exactly the same as the proportions among the registered voters.
Thank you so much, Senator. Can I just quickly before your witness, I just want to share a couple thoughts with you, because, you know, this issue, which I'm happy you're joining in on, has been a painful fight of mine for 20 years. Because, you know, it's quite challenging. At the end of the day, to me, an activist government's a good thing. People have confidence in government, that you can do all kinds of things. If they don't have confidence in government, you can't. And this issue of gerrymandering proved in my analysis, constitutional analysis, looking at all the issues of Voting Rights Act and all the challenges, is really about incumbency protection and not about party protection and or ethnic community protection, because the constitutional standards of the last 50 years has been pretty inclusive on those cases. But it's been a hard fight, and all I just want to suggest to you as you go forward on this, which I think is a great idea, is one of the challenges we faced at the state was outreach. Nobody really cares about this issue. They talk about it, they like to bellyache about it, but we spent millions of dollars that we contributed to the state to go reach out into communities to make sure that the commission, you know, you all talk about diversity in the commission and all these other issues. Well, it doesn't happen automatically. It's expensive and it's hard. And we went out and again into communities and sent cards and calls and all kinds of stuff to create the commission. And I think at the end of the day, at the state level, what the commission did was pretty intelligent. They were smart. No one's really challenged them, and it's worked pretty well. So all I would just suggest with you, you know, I appreciate all the various elements, and you have ticked all the right boxes. just the one thing that's hard to express is how much resource this takes to actually create a commission that really has the diversity that you need of the folks in the process. So I just share that painful experience, an expensive experience.
Correct. I
with
share
you.
your concern.
Yeah, so it's going to be hard to find people to support that, but it's really, really important. Let me just ask for, real quickly, because I went off, any other further in support? Any witnesses in support? Of course, the League of Women Voters on the side of righteousness.
Chair Hertzberg, Nicholas Heidorn and members, Nicholas Heidorn with California Common Cause. We have a support if amended position on this bill. Common Cause is a strong supporter of the commission-based model of redistricting, which we do consider to be a best practice. As the chair mentioned, the State Commission has been very, very well received. I'd like to read just a quick excerpt from one Professor Kogan, who's done probably one of the most thorough analyses of the State Commission. He writes, "There's little doubt that the maps produced by the Commission and the process through which these plans came about represent an important improvement over 2001 redistricting. The new boundaries kept more communities together, created more compact districts, while at the same time increasing opportunities for minority representation." SB 958 closely models the State Commission and shares many of its very best elements. It excludes people who have conflicts of interest from serving on the Commission. It also adopts an impartial selection process, lays out fair redistricting criteria, and includes provisions requiring community outreach and participation. We do think if this commission is enacted, it could well become the model for county commissions. However, there are two issues that prevent us from going to full support at this time.
What are they?
The first one is the bill does not at this point include any post-service restrictions on commissioners after they've completed their service. This opens up the possibility, or the appearance at least, that commissioners may be acting in their own self-interest. For example, at the local level, we've seen redistricting commissioners run for districts they've themselves created. The second issue is that unlike the State Commission, which required balanced partisan representation, 5 Democrats, 5 Republicans, 4 others on the commission, this bill requires proportional political party representation. Now, we have no problem with proportional representation per se, but we do think there should be some guarantee of minimum political party representation.
Let me ask you a question. What does the Constitution mean? In the state of California, at the turn of the century, there were 120 members, whatever the number of the legislature, I think it was 115 members were Republicans and 5 were Democrats. Should there have been an equal deal of proportional representation? It's nothing more than democracy.
We think in terms of the redistricting process, there are 3 factors that you're looking at. One, commission-based model encourages more community participation process, which we think is a good thing. 2, it guards against incumbent self-interest, which you mentioned. But I think the third factor that the public cares a lot about is seeing that it's not going to be subject to partisan gerrymandering or the ability of a party to get unfairly super representative.
Don't you think when you look, I mean, there's been 75 Supreme cases in the district courts, courts of appeals, and Supreme Court. There is a very intelligent body of law. As much as people wanted to bellyache about the redistricting in 2001, there were no court cases that overturned what we did in the California Assembly. Not a single one. There was only 2 challenges, both of which lost. The Constitution, we've had 50 years of very thoughtful deliberation on the Voting Rights Act, on the 14th Amendment and the like. Don't those provide the level of protections?
Well, I think what we would say is we're not saying that the standard should be what is the constitutional minimum here. We're saying that for both public perception and for reasons of fairness, you don't want partisan considerations and the ability to gain kind of above your representation advantage.
No, but my point is they can't game it under the Constitution. And then the Department of Justice, the rules, I mean, it's staggering what hoops you've got to jump through. So what you're saying is perception is more important than the Constitution. I'm not suggesting that's wrong. I'm just wanting to clarify your point.
I'm suggesting it's not only a perception problem, but there can be actual problems with gerrymandering. I mean, we've seen this in other states, certainly Texas when it did its mid-decade redistricting. I think a lot of people
got thrown out. Well, they played a game. It was horrible, but it got thrown out.
When you look at the actual Supreme Court standards on partisan gerrymandering, it's true the Supreme Court has said that can be a problem that will lead it to be thrown out. But if you look at also what the Supreme Court has said is we don't yet know how to define it, and that's one of the big problems within that area of law. So we think it is something where it is very hard to actually guard against.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair and members, I'm Trudy Schaefer, representing the League of Women Voters of California. We also have a support if amended position on SB 958. We also pushed very hard for the passage of Proposition 11.
You
based
did.
on our, yes, we did.
You did.
Along with Common Cause and AARP and others, many others. This is based on our state position that at the state and the local level, we want a redistricting process that's fair, that is open and transparent, that we favor independent commissions and with full opportunity for representation of the public at large and protection of minority group interests. One thing I will comment is that after the last LA County and LA City redistricting, the League, other good government groups, including Common Cause, and a number of civil rights and ethnic representative organizations met to discuss what had happened in LA, and they, although not coming forward with a proposal, certainly talked along the lines of this proposal in SB 958. So we think this is an important step forward. We're very pleased to be working with Senator Lara on some of the details. We also had concerns about post-service restrictions, and we asked for some consideration of a little more explicit requirement for making the public hearings and the outreach more available to people of all opportunities, people who are working and need to be having some evening meetings, for example, other meetings perhaps during the day, weekends, and so forth. And we've been very pleased with the progress we're making in those discussions, and so for those reasons, we hope you will pass this bill.
It's amazing. This is coming through the legislature. It's very impressive.
Wonderful.
It's a real evolution. But let me ask you one question about this issue. You know, all local governments are nonpartisan. So they're nonpartisan seats. People don't put a D or an R or an I or whatever they are next to their name. They're nonpartisan. Does that change the standard with respect to the issue of considering partisanship in this race? Because you might consider partisanship, but quite frankly, people run all over the place when they're running. You know, that's just how they do it. So there's not partisanship. Does that change the standard at all with respect to the partisanship decisions as to the makeup of the composition of the commission?
You know, I guess I would say in response that that is exactly the subject of discussions that we're pleased that the senator is having with us and Common Cause, and I understand at least one other group. So finding the best way to craft a structure that is in accord with the law, as Mr. Hydorn has commented, the Supreme Court decisions are not that clear on what is and isn't allowed in taking party into consideration in redistricting. And so we're looking for something that does accomplish fairness and makes it possible for the general public to trust the results of this redistricting process.
Trust the results. Those are the words. Any further support? Any opposition? Any questions from the members? Senator Morlock. Senator Pavlik, do you have something? No?
Just a question for clarification purposes.
Okay, go ahead then, Senator Morlock. Go ahead.
Part of the discussion in the past was 5 versus 7 members of the Board of Supervisors. Is that part of this discussion?
No, we don't. We are simply focused on the redistricting commission, ensuring that the current seats, if the board chooses to expand at a later date, or is forced to expand.
That's part of the issue
Yeah, it's
on
different deal,
just
yeah.
the size of a supervisor's district.
Right.
Okay,
I
thank
think
you.
you take the county and divide it up into about 3 counties anyway. It's kind of my, forget the size of the board, you make 3 counties out of it.
Yeah, we're
Senator Morlock.
county split off from LA County in 89.
That's right.
So we saved another 3 million people to oversee. Is the Board of Supervisors of LA County in support of this bill?
No, my goal is to continue to have discussions with them to move forward, not officially.
So I'm just, as a former supervisor, kind of trying to figure out why would Sacramento be doing this as opposed to going through our own process once the census is done and doing our own redistricting, which Senator Wynn and I did earlier this decade. So I'm trying to figure out why. Are we helping
I can
or
tell you,
meddling or
I can
what?
tell you why, because it's one of the most diverse counties in the country, and it still lacks significant diversity.
Right, but you've got I think, a pretty diverse Board of Supervisors, and that's their job, right?
No, we disagree on that.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Anything further? Do you have a motion? You want to close, Senator?
Thank you, Senator Hertzberg. And just to note that we are taking the post-service restrictions. We just didn't get them on time.
Oh, good, okay.
To committee. So they'll, if you allow me to move this bill forward, we're going to work that out in appropriations. We're also working on a whole host.
I know the chair of appropriations, I can help you with that.
Thank you. I would appreciate that. And so we continue to work with Common Cause and the League of Women Voters on trying to find common solutions for the great recommendations they are setting forth.
I just got to tell you, Senator, you can't find better groups. These guys have been reasonable. I've been working with them for years, in kind of an informal capacity on stuff. And, you bang it around a lot, and it takes a lot of consideration. But at the end of the day, we've come up with some pretty rational results. I mean, I think where we are today, to sit here today, many, many years later, and to see this come out of the legislature with substantially in the form of what we've talked about, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. I give you a lot of credit for that.
Thank you, Senator.
Okay, we have a motion. That was Senator Bell made the motion. There's a motion due pass as amended to appropriations. The secretary call the roll.
Hertzberg?
Aye.
Hertzberg, aye. Wynn?
No.
Wynn, no. Bell? Bell, aye. Hernandez? Lara?
Aye.
Lara, aye. Morlock? Morlock, no. Pavley? Pavley, aye.
4-2, we'll hold it open. Thank you very much. Senator Walk, file item number 5, SB 1317. Can I just take a moment and open the roll on a couple of things for members that are here? We've got where you're setting up. Let's get a motion on the consent calendar. Senator Laura moves. Due pass to the floor. Recommended consent for and due pass. That's on 1480 and on 1481. Due pass to appropriations recommended for consent. Secretary, open the roll. It's file 8 and 9.
Hertzberg?
Aye.
Hertzberg, aye. Wynn?
Aye.
Wynn, aye. Bell? Bell, aye. Hernandez? Lara? Lara, aye. Morlock? Morlock, aye. Pavley? Pavley, aye. 6.
Okay, file item number 7, SB 1476, Governance and Finance Committee, due pass to appropriations. I want to, again, you weren't here, Senator Morlock, but we commended you for your role in help developing this out of the committee in Los Angeles and fixing some of the problems. Thank you so very much. Secretary, open the roll.
Hernandez? Lara? Aye. Lara, aye. Morlock? Morlock, aye. 6-0.
6-0, we'll hold it open for Senator Hernandez. I'm going up, file item number 6, SB 1416, Senator Stone. Do we have a motion on that? Because I think we only had one member. We did? So moved by Senator Pavley. This is due pass as amended to appropriations, reflecting comment 4.
We did get 2.
Oh, we did get 2 votes? Okay, open the roll, please.
Hertzberg?
Aye.
Hertzberg, aye. Hernandez? Lara? Aye. Lara, aye. Morlock? Morlock, aye. Pavley? Pavley, aye. 6-0.
6-0, we'll hold it open for Senator Hernandez. File item number 4, SB 1262, Senator Pavley. It was due pass to appropriations. File item number 4, 1262. You have it?
Yes.
Okay. Secretary, open the roll.
Hernandez?
Just Hernandez? Okay, we already got it, so we're good on that. Huh? We are right now. I'm going up backwards. File number 3, SB 1069, Senator Wachowski. Due pass as amended to appropriations. 1069. Secretary, open the roll.
Wynn? Aye. Wynn, aye. Lara? Aye. Lara, aye. Morlock? Morlock, aye. Pavley?
Not voting.
We have 6-0.
6. So it's out?
It's out.
6-0. That measure is out. Senator Laura, I think we got everybody who was just here. And did we get Senator Wynn on file item number 1, SB 898? So all we're waiting is for Senator Hernandez. We have 898? Okay. File item number 1, SB 898, due pass to appropriations. Secretary, open the roll.
Hernandez? Lara? Aye. Lara, aye. Morlock? Aye. Morlock, aye. Pavley? Pavley, aye. 6-0.
6-0, waiting for Senator Hernandez, right? 6-0, hold that. Okay. Senator Walk, sorry. Thank you for dealing with our issues, Madam Emeritus. SB 1317. Okay.